Mishra, difficult game yesterday, another very difficult game today, but the result was definitely in your favor in this one because you managed to save an incredibly difficult position against one of the best players on the planet. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, it feels nice to save this game. The last two games, I had draws in both of them. I had no time.
Right.
That was one thing I tried to fix today. I tried to keep more time on the clock.
Absolutely.
And of course, I'm pretty sure, yeah, at some point he was winning after queen takes e5 and so on. But it kind of shows that there's so much scope of improvement at all levels.
It was all about this moment at this point when you guys were in this melee, tactical melee at this point, and you played bishop to f4. We were a bit puzzled about this decision because queen to f5 made a lot of sense. When you played bishop to f4, queen to f5 was definitely on your radar. Did you calculate queen to g4? Was that it? Was that your plan all along?
Yeah, queen g4 was one idea and knight d2 was another main idea. Otherwise, of course, there's no point of this. Yeah, but I thought there was one or two issues with this. I think bishop e6 was the main issue here.
Mm-hmm.
Because after bishop e6, I actually don't have a move. If I go bishop g3 or h2, he goes queen c2. If I go bishop e3, he has queen takes e5, knight f3, queen e4, knight d2, queen c2, bishop takes b6, rook takes d2. And I thought queen e1, queen takes b2, and this looked quite difficult to play. Because now, okay, bishop a5, rook f2 is hanging, and rook b1, he has queen c3.
Yes. And you're losing this one as well. This one is not looking good. So you decided on queen g4.
So based on that, yeah, queen g4, actually, when I played bishop 4 at first, I saw queen f5, queen g4. And here there's basically two choices for black, queen c2 and queen takes g4.
Yeah.
Now, queen c2, my original idea was to go knight e3, queen takes b2, bishop takes h6.
That's what we thought as well. Yes.
Yeah. If this works, of course, I would play this. But the issue is queen takes a1 check, king h2. And now, the main point of this position is that the automatic move g6 fails to queen h4.
That's right.
And there's mate.
Yes.
So, based on this, okay, of course, I had to check this out more, but the thing is, black has king f8 instead of g6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very nicely calculated. King to f8, queen takes g7, and now you go king to e8.
Queen takes g7, king e8, and now here, maybe you can try c4.
That's right.
It's one idea is now you're turning queen h8 check, king d7, e6. But I think here maybe black can go, but queen d4 is one candidate move, but queen d4 you have knight f5. Maybe this somehow works, but I don't believe in this at all.
It was queen to a3 at this point. I think the very unpleasant move to face.
Yes, this is a nice move. You just stop all counterplay, and this. I mean, this has to be winning for black.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And well, you decided to go for rook to f1, and you got to this position. And then, how did you feel about your chances at this point? Because to our eyes, it looked very, very bad. c5, c4 was coming very quickly, and we didn't see a good way for you to stop it.
Yeah, it looks quite grim for white, because the queen on h4, it actually just has no squares.
Right.
Other than e7, there's I don't think there's a single square I can move the queen without hanging it. I think maybe rook d3 he played bishop e6, right, at some point, instead of...
Yes.
I think he should have maybe kept the bishop on b3. I think c5 was maybe perhaps more precise here. c5, c4.
c5, c4.
But still, okay, it's not too easy, because somewhere the whole point of this bishop takes h6 was that now there's always some perpetual. You can never play, say, rook d3 in peace, because maybe somewhere I have queen c8 check.
Yeah. Without the bishop on e6, that's a defensive piece as well. It protects your king very nicely.
Yes. And here maybe I can go h4, c4, h5, but okay, this should be quite lost.
Yeah. And then he allowed you to enter this endgame after the exchange of the rooks, maybe a bit prematurely for him. Did you understand that this position is just equal?
Yeah, actually, I think when I spoke to him after the game, I think he said f6, he missed f3. Because after f6, f3, okay, my queen on h4 finally gets some more breathing space, and now like rook e1 is already a threat. And now the thing is, since he's played f6, his king is also going to be quite weak, and now the queen side is also, this bishop on v6 is a really good piece, because now it kind of like shuts down the queen side for now.
Yeah.
And if I ever get rook e1, like now next move, bishop takes a5 will be a threat.
Right.
Due to the hanging bishop on e6.
Yeah.
So I think already around f3, I was kind of getting a little bit more optimistic, like about my drawing chances.
Yeah.
And yeah, this opposite colored bishop ending, I thought it might be a bit tricky, but I felt like in general it should be a draw. There's kind of two ways I can try to hold this. One idea is to do what I did in the game and bring the king to the king side and start pushing pawns. The other idea is try to keep the king on d4 and hold it like that.
I think the one you did was pretty practical.
Yes, because another issue is that, okay, you put the king on d4, you have to keep thinking every move.
Yeah. No,
like here, okay, it's you kind of get a forced line, and this is quite drawn. But the thing is, like if I keep the king on d4 and say somehow my king side gets frozen, it might seem like it's, for example, say like in the worst of worst possible scenarios, if I have to go f4, g3, h4.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this might just be lost because with the pawns on, say, like g6, f5, black can keep the king on d6 and say, my king will be on b4 or d4. He can keep, if my king is on d4, he just has to cover the c4 square.
You're
I
keeping
cannot
too many pawns on the board, basically. And at some point, yes, you will get in trouble. No, I think you took the right decision, very good practical decisions along the way. It wasn't easy, but I have to say I was impressed with your defense. So congratulations. Go get some rest. Mm-hmm. Don't do too much training after a 5-hour game. Don't do too much training. Sure. And we'll see you tomorrow.
It was an honor to play against a legend like Dominguez. I've grown up watching his games, and he's simply one of the best players in the world.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Congratulations, Mishra. Seriously, a very, very big result. Difficult opponent, and it was a